last video. Videos have slowed down a little bit again, but I will be doing a live update, whisper, ramble, to let you all know what's been going on behind the scenes, because some pretty life-changing and pretty fun things have been happening, namely with my job, but that's for another day. And you may have noticed I did get a haircut as well, so the long hair didn't last too long here on the channel. I'm glad most of you did like the long hair, but it's gone now, unfortunately, and we're back to this curly-ish sort of was it ice cream hair sort of look. I haven't styled my hair today, so this is just, yeah, this is from like the humidity that's going on, because it is hot. It's wham. It's about 30 degrees. So yeah, I've decided to film on the hottest day of the year so far, which isn't the smartest thing to do. But anyways, we've got a long video ahead of us. So make sure you are comfortable. Make sure you're ready to relax. And let's begin. So if you can't tell by the title, we are doing a board game collection. If you did watch my update video a couple months back now, I did say I was going to make more videos based around my hobbies and interests, and one of those hobbies and interests being board games. So I have done a board game unboxing here on the channel already, which you guys can check out after this video, and I also have done a board game gameplay session of Stardew Valley, which you can also check out after this video. So I thought I could show off a few of my games. Now, I did make a video like this about a year ago, which you can also check out in this video. There's a lot of videos to check out, but I've got a few more since then, so I thought I would share them with you guys and talk a little bit about them. There may be one board game that was in the last video, I'm not too sure, but these are like the main games that I've been playing the last couple of months or so. So starting off with the first board game, a board game which you guys should be accustomed to already. Now this is the board game that I did an unboxing of, and since then I have been able to get one gameplay session out of it. I haven't played it solo just yet. I really want to get around to playing it solo, but I did manage to get a gameplay session in with my girlfriend before she went back home to Mexico. And I have to say, it is a really fun game, and the core mechanic of the 9 die, 9 turns, it really does creep up on you out of nowhere. You really have to time your goes really well to get the most amount of efficiency per turn. Really is a strategic game that does require a lot of thinking. It's a tiny game, tiny box, but there's a lot packed into it. So I'll just read the bit on the back so you guys have a clearer indication as to what this game is actually about. 1761, the Edo period in Japan. The White Castle of Himeji, I butchered that. It is the seat of the powerful dynamo Sakai Tazumi. The smaller clans must come here if they hope to advance their position in the palace. As a leader of your clan, can you insert members of your families into the most rewarding positions within the White Castle and secure your clan's future in the court of the White Heron. So basically is a dice rolling worker placement game where, just like it says on the back, you are trying to gain resend. It definitely is worth a value, 100%. So, there we have the White Castle. And then up next is another smaller game, a quite popular game within the board game community as well, and that is Seven Wonders Duel. So, same with the White Castle. I've only played this once, and it was good. It wasn't fantastic, but I definitely think with this game, it definitely feels like a game you need to have multiple sessions of to really, I don't know, sort of get the most out of it, to really understand what strategy to take and what cards to take and what not to do. But at the same time, it doesn't feel all that rewarding, because to give you guys context and to sort of reminisce on my playthrough, I did originally win with a combat victory. I collected enough combat cards and progressed my combat score enough to where I actually got a dominance victory. But it just did not feel good. So I actually took back the combat card that I took so that I wouldn't have won on dominance, to see if actually completing the game, you know, to get the normal victory win felt any better. And not really. It kind of just felt a little bit flat in the end. I'm trying to turn the box over without creating too much noise. So, again, to give you a little bit of context about the game. So, develop one of the most powerful cities in antiquity and triumph over your opponent by bringing your civilization to victory. So it is a city builder with cards. So Seven Wonders Duel is a standalone game designed specifically for 2 players. So there is a game out there called Seven Wonders, which is for multiple people, and so the Duel was a refined version, which is quite different to the normal Seven Wonders. So essentially all you do is choose an available building, 2, develop your city by using your resources, and 3, win the game with scientific or military supremacy, or by just earning victory points. So it is quite a simple game, and it is really more of a card game than it is a board game, and the only board that I can think of is the military combat board. So yeah, more of a card game than it is a board game. But I definitely think I'm going to have to play more games of this to fully form my opinion, because as you can see on the box, it has won multitude, a plethora of awards. popular board game in the community, and has been kind of a staple for quite a few years now. It only came out a few years ago, but it's very, very big. And that game is Root. Now, some of you who aren't even into board games might already heard of this game before. It seems to have got quite a wide reach, which is quite good. And I mean, just from the art style alone, it attracts a lot of people, and for good reason. Just the art style is just so fun, artsy, and just colourful, vibrant, warm as well. Just a very comforting art style. Now, I have played Root a handful of times actually. However, I've only played Root in a two-player setting, which is very, very limiting. I didn't know before purchasing this game that Root is really only played at its very best in a 4-player setting. That kind of makes sense because it's a very asymmetric game, and you kind of need all factions in the game at one time to really, really get the most out of it. So the games I have played of it, they have been fun, but it's now at a point where it's like the same thing is happening. We've kind of figured out the tactics. There's not really much else to experience from the game from a 2-player perspective. But I do think playing this in a 4-player setting would be so much fun, and I'm hoping that sometime towards the end of this year, or maybe next year, I'll be able to play this with 4 people. I've talked to some people who have actually heard of this game, never played it, so it'll be interesting to play with them. The problem with this game is it's quite difficult to learn, and it's fairly difficult to teach, especially when every character plays so wildly and radically different from the other. Again, it's a very asymmetric game. It's a bit of a challenge to sort of wrap your head around, and if you want to play a new character, you have to learn them, and it kind of takes a game or two to properly understand your character, so it's a very, very high learning curve when it comes to this game. But let me actually explain what this game is, and by explain I mean read what it says on the back. So, in Root, 2 to 4 intrepid players attempt to rule a fantastic forest kingdom in the ultimate asymmetric game of adventure and war. So there are 4 main factions. There are quite a few others you can buy from, like expansion packs. They're quite expensive. You'll be spending a pretty time to get them. So you've got the Marquis de Cat. So dominate the woods, extracting the riches and policing the inhabitants. So they've got a very large presence on the map. They start pretty much everywhere, and they use like resources, as I said, such as wood, to really maintain that dominance. So yeah, the Marquis is really all about area control and maintaining it. The Eerie dynasties regain control of the woods while keeping your squabbling court at bay. So yeah, the birds, the Eerie dynasty kind of works the opposite. You're looking to expand and take from others, which is a very interesting gameplay mechanic, especially with the rotating court. It becomes quite a challenge to manage this guild, this faction, but a lot of fun. And then the other two, which I've not played as yet, is the Woodland Alliance. So gather supporters and coordinate revolts against the ruling regime. Can't really comment too much about them. And then you got the Vagabond, a faction that really interests me, and I think if I were to play this in a 4-player setting, I would quite like to play the Vagabond. So they seek fame and fortune as you forge alliances and rivalries with other players. So yeah, it's basically how do you even explain this game? I don't think I'll be able to explain it. Basically, there's resource management, there's battles, there's worker placement, there's a whole lot that goes into this game, and yeah, it took me a bit to learn it. So I'm not as high on this game as a lot of other people, and I can only recommend this game if you have 3 other people to play with. So if there's 4 of you to play, then 100% get this game. But if there's anything less than 4 of you in your core gaming group, I don't think I can recommend Root as good of a game it is. And I can see the good in this game. I can see where it is. It's just I don't have the facilities to really unlock that and see its full potential. But yeah, hopefully I will at some point in the future. The next board game, I think, is one of the best board games I have ever played. Probably the best single player board game I've played. And that's Spirit Island. Hopefully you guys can see that pretty well. This game is so good, and I will definitely be doing a playthrough of it sometime in the future. Not sure when, but I would love to play this game on the channel at some point. So I'm just going to get right into reading about it because it's such a good game. So the island needs your help. Powerful spirits have existed on this isolated island for time immemorial. Never used that word before. They are both part of the natural world and at the same time something beyond nature. Native islanders, known as the Dahan, have learned how to coexist with the spirits, but with a healthy dose of caution and respect. However, now the island has been discovered by invaders, colonizers from a far-off land. The British. These would-be colonists. Well, it says they are there. So these would-be colonists are taking over the land and upsetting the natural balance, destroying the presence of spirits as they go. As spirits, the players, you must grow in power and work together to drive the invaders from your island before it's too late. So again, this is another asymmetric game where every character you play, or every spirit you play, plays completely different to the other. Like, no spirit plays alike. They may have similar strategies, like some are more attack favoured and some are better at defence and some are better at area control, but the way you kind of approach that is very different with each spirit. This game is so good. I'm still yet to get through all the spirits, but this game is such a challenge. Every time you play it, you at some point you think, this is actually impossible. There is no way that I can win this, because the gameplay loop of this game is invaders invade, you deal with the invaders, even more invaders invade, you deal with them, even more comments. So it's this constant, a fire appears, you put out the fire, oh, it starts spreading, oh, you put out that fire, it's spreading even more somewhere else. So it's a constant battle back and forth, and at some points you have to make choices. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices on certain lands to take a hit so you can take out that fire. It really is about choosing what would be much more beneficial. Like, it's just, there's so much to think about with this game, and it's so good, so good. My favourite character to play so far is Shadow's Flicker Like Flame. Cool name. Like, a lot of these spirits have really cool like names and actual like background lore to do with them. And yeah, you can easily play this game single player. It kind of really is built for single player. And you can play this with multiple people. I wouldn't exceed anything more than 2. I think 2 is a pretty comfy balance. Even 3 people sounds like it would be a challenge and just an absolute mind to deal with, like a mind to deal with. And then 4 people, no, I couldn't even imagine 4 people. 4 people would just be torture. But I absolutely love this game. It's upside down. I always put these lids on the wrong way around. And again, the art style with this board game is just fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. This game can be a little bit of a challenge, a little bit on the heavier side, because it is asymmetric, so there's a lot more to learn with this game than, say, other board games. But it really does feel like a video game that was ported into being a board game. Where a lot of time you do see it where board games do kind of get ported into video games, but this kind of feels like the reverse. Which is really good, like great. It's like I've never played a board game that quite feels like that. The next board game, I've noticed they've been getting bigger and heavier as the video goes on. This board game is one of the biggest board games out there in like modern board game, history. It kind of did kickstart the modern board gaming trends and the revitalization of board games. And that is Scythe. It's a bit of a heavier box, so I'm just going to rest it on my lap just for now. But my god, Scythe is such a cool game. Oh man, let me tell you about it. Scythe is a competitive 4X game. So if you don't know what 4X means, it's basically, it stands for expand, exploit. You know what? I was going to tell you what 4X means, but I can't actually remember. Essentially, what 4X means is like you explore this land, you build on it, you extract resources, and you grow and develop cities or armies or whatever. Yeah, no, really useful for me not being able to remember what it actually stands for. Set in alternate history 1920s, it's a time of farming and war, broken hearts and rusted gears, innovation and valour. So the backstory is the ashes of the First Great War still darken the snow in 1920s Europa. The capitalistic city-state known simply as the Factory, which fueled the war with heavily armoured mechs, has closed its doors, drawing the attention of several nearby countries. With characters from 5 factions converging onto one small but highly desired swath of land, who will gain fame and fortune by establishing their empire as the leader of Eastern Europa. So it really does have this gorgeous steampunk aesthetic to it. You've got these mechs this at its core is an engine building game, and now I know a lot of people who don't play board games won't really know what that means, but essentially throughout the game you will be expanding your engine and making it better. So basically that means giving yourself more options to take, more resources to gain, basically just give yourself an advantage. Now it's not like an actual engine, it's not like a mech engine, it's just sort of your player board, and the more you play, the more you unlock. And yeah, this game is so much fun. I've had a blast teaching new people had played this game. They seem to enjoy it. It is a bit of an interesting one to introduce people to, but I've been loving it. And me and my girlfriend, we've played quite a few two-player games of this, and they've been good fun. I do mainly play as Poland Polski with Wojtek the bear, and I always win as him, so I think we might need to ban him in our two-player games, because yeah, Poland is pretty strong in two-player. But yeah, this was one of the first board games that I actually bought, but I never really played it until this year. Well, no, last year, no, this year or last year, I can't remember. I think it was this year. I had played it once before, but that was like back in 2021 or something like that when I first got it. So it feels great to be able to play it again. And it's upside down again. I'm not going to turn it around because it'll be loud, but there we had Scythe. Okay, so we do have one more board game to show you, and this may be my favourite board game I have ever played in my life. And that is the Castles of Burgundy. Now you may notice it's just a lid, because you can just tell how ginormous this box is. Like, this is huge. Granted, it is the special edition, so you would hope it would be quite a big box if it was special. But yeah, this is easily the most expensive board game I have ever purchased, and probably one of the best investments I have ever made, because this game is just so much fun, and there's still things I'm yet to explore, still expansions that I'm yet to play, but already this game is just, it works perfectly. So with Castle of Burgundy, I don't actually have the back to read from. I don't actually think there is anything to read on the back of the box, so I'll try to explain this game as best as I can. So, you are a prince or a high noble or something, any of your duchy, and you're looking to build upon your duchy by building shipyards or building markets or building castles, and scoring points. That's kind of basically it. You're building on your duchy these buildings, and these buildings will score you victory points. Very simple premise, very simple rules, very easy to teach, very easy to learn. So this is known as what you'll call like a classic Euro style game, where you draw, it's a dice drawing game, so you roll die, and these die determine what buildings you can build and where you build them on your duchy. So very simple mechanic, but a very engaging mechanic, and I've taught this to quite a few people who are new to board games, who have never played board games before, and they've loved this game. You really do get sucked into it, because I think it's a very approachable game, but yeah, there's so many layers and like complexity to it you can make. It's just perfect board game perfection in my opinion. Simple mechanics, deep level strategy, monotone in its art design. So they came out with this edition to sort of fix that problem and improve the quality of the pieces, so bigger pieces, better artwork, actual 3D models of castles, which is probably the coolest part of the entire thing. And yeah, it's just one of the best gaming experiences I've had so far, and I've played this quite a few times already. So when my girlfriend comes back from Mexico, we will be playing this a lot, hopefully, and hopefully we'll be playing it with not just the two of us but multiple people, although I do think this game plays better at 2 players, because it can take a while when there's 4 people, because people do take their time and make decisions, and rightfully so. You really do need to make the right decision every time, so it can be quite a slow paced game with more than 2 people, but it's still fun. So I just cannot recommend this game more than enough. Maybe not quite the special edition, because it's a hefty price. So, you know, maybe if you really know you're really gonna love this game, you've seen some like videos on it, or maybe you have one of the original versions and one of the like early editions, then I definitely recommend an upgrade to this. I don't think anyone could regret buying it or upgrading to it. So yeah, I'll just let you guys see the box one more time. It really is a beautiful box, and mine was actually discounted by quite a lot because it said it had this massive crease on the box, but I think by crease they mean, I don't know if the camera will be able to pick it up, like this crease on the side that is barely noticeable. If like the camera probably picks it up more because of the light, but I remember opening it up and thinking, did they send me like a normal version, because I cannot see any damage on this box. But yeah, there's like a few dents here and there, but like it doesn't matter. It's a box for the game, as long as the rest of the game is fine, then who cares, you know. So Castles of Burgundy. So that does it for this video. I do hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it was relaxing. Maybe if you didn't know too much about board games, hopefully, or maybe it introduced you to a new interesting hobby. Maybe it's, you know, piqued your interest a little bit. So I definitely recommend getting into board games. It can be an expensive hobby, as all hobbies, but it's really great for socialising. And yeah, it's so much fun. Maybe you and your partner are looking for something to kind of like keep you guys entertained, something to do together. I think this is a great couple hobby as well. I really do. And this isn't even all my board games. I've got like 6 other board games. I think most of the other board games I showed off in the video about a year ago, but I can make a video in the coming weeks or so for a part 2 of this video. Yeah, because quite a few interesting board games that I haven't shown you guys yet. Quite interesting. So I just want to thank you guys for being here with me this afternoon, or this evening, or this morning. It has been an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one, as always. So